Hi, Jenny.
Hi, Laurie.
So we're here now to talk about the natal moon in Pisces.
That's right.
And so we've come to the last of the 12 signs, and now we're at Pisces. And before we talk about what it's like to have your personal moon in Pisces, let's first talk about what the moon represents on its own, what the moon itself represents. And I know that you talk about that, Jenny.
Okay. Well, first and foremost, I think the simplest way to think about it is the reigning need of the chart. So the deep emotional need is what the moon's going to illustrate. I think the next thing I really like to think about is it being the main ego struggle. So we all have a choice in how we work with our moon. You can be kind of unconscious about it and less illuminated, or you can kind of wake up and harness the power that's available in your moon. So there's the ego struggle. I also think that the moon represents our mothers in all of the lights, both how we view our actual mother, how we mother others, how we mother ourselves. So a lot of things about the mother. And what other things, Laurie?
Well, I think you covered most of it. You know, I do think of the moon also as it's really your instinctual needs as well. You know, the rainy need, yes, but it also, when you're in a situation where you're scared or whatever, you know, if emotion comes up fast, you instinctively go right to that sign that the moon is in. I used to talk a lot about it with thinking about when families gather at Thanksgiving dinner and everyone kind of goes into their infantile family dynamic. What you see on display is the moon sign. You don't see the sun sign on display. You see the moon sign on display. So at that Thanksgiving dinner, if you've got a person in your family with the moon in Pisces, what are they going to be doing during dinner? What do you think?
Spacing out, drinking a lot of wine.
Yeah, that was exactly what I thought. Yeah. So that gets us right into what is the ego challenge of the Pisces moon. And, you know, really the ego challenge of the Pisces moon is confusion, vagueness,
escapism.
Sort of escapism. That's where the drinking too much wine at that Thanksgiving party comes to. So if that same person who is on that more immature line with their Pisces moon and they're just sitting there at the Thanksgiving dinner drinking a lot, let's say 5 years later, they've matured a lot. Now what are they doing at that Thanksgiving dinner? What do you think?
Now they're imagining that the family can get along great. They're dreaming the dream. But there's a sense of transcendence if you can take that Pisces moon to the higher level. So transcendence, or maybe mysticism, or just working more the intangible, just understanding more the ideal way things could be. So
they might be, you know, they might be trying to bring a more spiritual element to the family group. And I don't mean religion, that's a whole different conversation, because I don't think of Pisces as religious, but it can definitely go into deeply spiritual realms. It's, you know, it's kind of the more positive side of escapism, really. If that makes sense. So let's see.
And it is also, it's the mutable water sign was the other thing I wanted to say. So there's a sense of it being elusive, and fickle can be another thing that can be a struggle with the Pisces, because it is pretty changeable.
Right.
So,
And really can be delusional and can be really imaginative and go into those beautiful places. You know, one of the things I think about with that Pisces moon is the need to work with the intangible. You know, the need to work with the intangible, the need to understand what's ideal. It's funny because Pisces is it's a harder sign to grab hold of, because it's sort of, I always have that sense with Pisces that you try to grab hold of it and it just kind of slips between your fingers. It's very elusive in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, you're going to see a lot of Pisces in musicians, is one possible place, the romantic, the poet, and also the martyr. You're going to see, those are all going to be those kind of designations for Pisces. So, yeah.
That's right. Okay. Did you have an example? Are we ready for an example now?
I think so.
All right.
And I wanted to look at Martin Luther King Jr.'s chart because he just has a really, really nice example of a Pisces moon. And here we have it. And so if you can find that Pisces moon, it's over there in the 12th house.
A little bit of idealism here.
Yeah, so that's kind of a double stroke of idealism and working with intangible aspects of life. So here's him up there orating, really inspiring people to make change in the civil rights movement. But you will also notice that moon is in hard aspect to both Saturn and Mars. So it is making a square to Saturn and it is making a square to Mars. Wow. And I point that out because that moon is what you would call the driver of that. It's a T-square. So the moon is the driver, the steering arm of the T-square. So that means all of the work is going to come out through that Pisces moon and his ability to inspire people.
Wow.
So that is powerful, and it's all in the places of the chart. The 3rd house, the 9th house, and the 12th house are all those learning, teaching, passing information type of houses.
That's really powerful. That's so powerful. Yeah, this just looks like this incredible frustration, but then it has this space to move into that dream. Well, that's really beautiful.
And the final piece I'll say is you might notice it's a little bit covered up, but that Mars is also retrograde. So you hear lots about retrogrades, but in a natal chart, a retrograde Mars is going to symbolize this idea that all of that frustration kind of has to go in and be churned around, and then before it can be acted on. And at first, Martin Luther King was not necessarily all about nonviolence. That was something he learned as part of his career. I mean, he was very frustrated about what was going on, and he learned this amazing thing, this amazing way to transform through nonviolence. So there's a lot of other really cool things about this chart we could go on and on about, but what's that you're doing there, Laurie?
I couldn't help it. It's just like he starts out with the South Node in Scorpio up here. This is not nonviolence, and moves toward this stabilization of seeking beauty and calm with that North Node, the North Node in Taurus. Anyway, I couldn't help throwing that out.
Yeah, it's just such a powerful chart. So great example of Pisces moon.
All right. Cool. Anything else about that, or do we want to give a little list of other moons?
No, let's give a list of. There's a lot of cool ones. So
on my list, I have an amazing grouping of people: Leonard Cohen, Sam Cooke, Allen Ginsberg, Herman Hesse, Michael Jackson. I mean, these are, Eartha Kitt, Robert Mapplethorpe. These are all artists of some sort. Edgar Allan Poe, Elvis Presley, Prince, Frank Sinatra, Patti Smith, J.R.R. Tolkien, and Helen Keller, which I love her chart. I don't know if you've looked at it, but at some point she's got an amazing chart. Who else do you have? Anybody else?
Marie Curie, who had, helped. She did all kinds of different work, founded 2 elements.
Talk about working with the intangible.
Yeah. But she had quite the powerful chart. She also had a ton of Scorpio, but with that Pisces moon holding down fort there. So she was, it was a cool chart.
That's amazing.
Great. So many interesting people.
Yep. Very, very interesting. So if you have your moon in Pisces, dream about it.
Imagine.
And work with the intangible. All right. Thank you, Jennie.
Thank you, Laurie. Thanks, everybody.